Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Apostate Weekly. I'm your host, James,
And I'm Ryan.
and let's get into that intro this week. All right. Welcome back, heathens,
Welcome
and
back.
all our friends and lovely apostates. How's everything going this week?
Going good for me. I'm a little tired. A little Miss Pickles. Miss Pickles got me running around like a crazy person. But other than that, I'm doing well. I'm struggling a bit to keep up with all that's happening in the news because I feel like it's just coming at us so fast. But other than that,
Well,
life is great.
at least this week doesn't feel like such a big boomer of a news week like the last few have felt.
Yeah.
So it's been a
Yeah.
lot quieter, and thank goodness too, because some of these news articles, goodness gracious.
Yeah. There's a lot of bad news out there. So I'm okay with a little bit of a slower news cycle. That
Yeah.
works for me.
Oh yeah. I mean, just a little continuation on from last week. We were talking about the events in Hamburg, Germany. Now, the witnesses have planned their own funeral service or memorial service, whatever they want to call it. And I think the communities around them are going to start waking up to the fact that the Jehovah's Witnesses are more, I don't want to say hateful, but they don't want to have anything to do with anybody
Mm-mm.
religiously outside their own bubble. And that
Right.
does create a disconnect in the community and makes them feel disconnected from the community, even though they offered a service for them from that one church in Germany.
Yeah. I found that whole thing to be very confuzzling. I was very confuzzled that in a time of crisis, like a whole community has been affected by what this idiot has gone and done. And the entire community wants to get together and mourn and support each other and show their solidarity. And
Yeah.
here we have the witnesses doing what they do best, being so insular that they're not even willing to just have one day where they accept prayers and love and support from outsiders. Like
Yeah.
how I don't even know how to explain that. Like, that is just so foreign to me that in a time of crisis, this is your position. Like, we're offended that you want to have a service and that you put all this together. How
Yeah.
dare you?
Yeah. Oh, but by the way, please come to our Kingdom Hall and convert to our religion at the same time.
Dude,
You
what?
know?
Like, oh, that's so welcoming. I want to go to their meetings because they are so welcoming, as you can see.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, it drives
Yeah.
me nuts. There is no sense to be made of it, and it shows how much they really don't care about people.
Exactly.
They only care about people unless it's, on their conditions. They set the
They
rules and conditions, and you got to follow it.
they only care about people as far as it takes to
Yes,
get them converted to their religion.
yeah, and exactly what Cindy said. This would be
Mhm.
the perfect opportunity to walk into that church or wherever this memorial, this vigil is being
Mhm.
held, and unite with these people and show them what the Jehovah's Witnesses are really made of. These are community people who care about people. That is why they preach their message. Doesn't sound like they really care about people.
No, not at all. But I do have some good news to report on this incident, though. Um,
Okay.
Despite all that, the
Awesome.
the remaining victims who weren't killed that night, the ones that were hospitalized and injured, are all out of the clear as far as anything being life threatening now. So
Oh, awesome.
that's some good news to report on this, that those remaining victims aren't going to die. So that was good to hear.
That is good news. I wasn't sure about that. I think a lot of us in the XJW community were worried because we know that they don't accept blood transfusions, and obviously with
Exactly.
a violent act like this, there could be a huge loss of blood. So
Yeah.
I'm very happy to hear that there weren't more lives lost.
Yeah. So, I mean, take what I try to take the bright spots out of anything that we can, especially in something this tragic and terrible that happened.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's always good to try to see a light at the end of the tunnel.
Right. Exactly.
Mhm.
So, just like the
Exactly.
news, we'll be moving on and switching subjects.
Right, yeah, just like the normal news cycle,
Right.
we don't stay on news too long.
And now on to the weather.
Exactly. Stay in your house, it is safer. It's safer to be in the house.
Right.
Do you want me to share well, it's not really a story that I have to share. Although there is plenty of stories I could have tried to pick up and talk about, but I
Well,
just didn't have it in me, not even gonna
well,
lie.
well, go ahead. Go ahead with what you got, though.
Okay, so what I wanted to do is share the ACLU website. They have really good information on all of the states and what is happening inside with the white Christian nationalists basically attacking our free speech, our schools, I mean, even our civil rights. So, right here, you can see there are 428 bills currently on the docket about our freedoms, about our life that the government is now trying to get into our own personal business and tell us how we should be living. And I can't even believe that the way with this country and how we talk about freedom and America is the country of the free. I am just so shocked at how many bills um, that are trying to be passed that are all about silencing us, that are all about removing our rights and our freedoms under the guise of protecting children.
And do
When
you know what any of these bills exactly are
oh
that you were
no,
looking at? I mean, you don't have to go into like depth on it, but
yeah,
just
why
like,
don't we just actually? How about let's look at? I think is it Iowa? I think Iowa right now is really under attack. Um, Wonder what this is. Let's just click and see if healthcare, school rights, civil rights. So can I go into it? Oh, okay. So this is about specifically about the like transgender and transitioning, etc. So this is basically trying to remove healthcare from kids and anybody really. This will be removing healthcare from everybody if they can get this kind of stuff to pass. So that's why I think it's important that you go into your state if you can, if you have the time, go into your state today and take a look at oh, it didn't, you guys, I'm so sorry. I clicked it open, share this tab instead. Duh. Sorry, I didn't realize it hadn't actually switched. But yeah, so you can actually go into the bill, see exactly what it's covering, what they're trying to um, take from us as far as freedoms, healthcare, schooling, etc., freedom of speech. I mean, because these are all the things that they are attacking again under the guise of protecting children. So, if you don't mind, if you have time, get yourself familiar, go through your state, see what's happening, and you can always contact your local authorities, those in positions of power, and tell them where you stand so they know what their constituents want. I mean, they're supposed to be working for us. Whether or not they do is another story
of course.
entirely. But yeah, there's so many here that you can look through, get the details. What else? Do they have anything else here?
Can you
They
put the
probably
Oh,
The
sorry. I was
link.
going to ask if you could put the link in the comments and then we'll pin it to the top so other people can go to the website and check this out for their own states.
Smart. Yeah, that's absolutely smart. Okay, I did just comment. It might take a second for it to come through. It might take a second for it to come through, but yeah, it is a very slippery slope. And when they attack the least of us, they're going to attack the rest of us. They just see what they can get away with when it comes to marginalized groups. So if we're
Right.
not careful, like if we don't protect those that are vulnerable, then it will be us. And I mean, we should protect the vulnerable just because we care about them and we love them and they deserve their rights just as much as the rest of us do. But just know that when they come for the marginalized and the vulnerable, they're testing the waters to see what they can do to us. They're taking they're taking the playbook out of the, Hitler's Nazi campaign, and he took it from our playbook when it came to slavery. So it's really scary to know what the United States is capable of. We know what they're capable of. We've seen it in our past history. That's why we just can't allow it to happen again. And we have to be more educated. And I know that sucks, waking up out of a high control religion and realizing like, oh shit, like we're under attack and we've been under attack, but we were asleep the entire time. And now here we are trying to figure out what to do about it. And the best thing we can do is talk about it, keep discussing it, and let your lawmakers know where you stand.
Oh yeah, and it's very hard to know where to begin sometimes, even especially when you're coming out of it,
It
and
really is.
because it's like all of a sudden now you have all these issues just slamming you in the face, and you're like, oh my God, what do I do? Where do I go? And it takes time, and
Mhm.
and I'll tell people, take your time, find what issues matter to you and learn on those, and don't try to take them all on at once. Take on one or two, and then go from there. And then, you can't just take everything all at once and expect to get anywhere.
Exactly. And I think that's really good advice because it is overwhelming. Like I was a bit overwhelmed just trying to think of like what news story I want to talk about today. And that's only just because it's just been a rigmarole the past couple weeks. So I
Yeah.
understand it. It gets overwhelming. Just do what you can. You're not going to be any good to anybody if you're overly stressed and, you know,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah, that. If you're
Jinx.
overly stressed, it's not good. There you go.
If you're really stressed, you're going to lose your hair like me. So,
No offense, but I'd like to keep what I have.
oh, I think we should get one of those like filters for you and see what you look like bald. That'd be
I,
hilarious.
I I actually do need to get myself like a bald cap so that way I can do more of the governing body members.
Oh, like in the intro song.
Yeah. Hmm. Yep. Instead of using a filter, I can just have a bald cap. Much easier.
Okay. So, moving on, do you remember that story that came out a while ago about that young girl who had to listen to her recordings in
Yes, I
front
talk
of the
about it all the
elders?
time. Ugh, I hate that fucking story.
Well, I'm bringing it up again. So you can hate me if you want, but
No, no, I just hate it because it's so freaking disgusting. It's such a disgusting story. So there's some resolution to it.
well, sadly, okay. Yes,
Oh,
it has been resolved. Unfortunately, it was an out of court settlement. So we're not going to
oh,
get the details of it, of what the
I see.
settlement was or anything. But end result, though, I hope that poor girl gets some help and finds her happiness and is able to move on with her life after this.
Absolutely. Yeah, because she was young at the time, so she still must be a fairly young, young adult,
Hmm.
dealing with what, she's been through. Horrific,
So
horrific.
trying to see where exactly said that.
So they settled out of court.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting.
So, yep. So that case like I said,
Does it
it's
say how much they settled
no,
for?
no, it
Not that it's
doesn't.
my
It doesn't.
business, but I
It
was
doesn't
just
give any
curious.
details other than it was settled out of court. And
Zelkin Law Firm, I've seen them. I've
mhm,
done Googling before, and they've popped up about different cases of the Jehovah's Witnesses. Wow,
yes,
okay.
yeah,
Hmm,
yeah, they were involved, and this was in Utah. This case, but Zalkin does do cases all over the country. So
okay. Interesting. Well, I'm glad that hopefully maybe she can now put this to bed and move forward with some healing, you know?
yeah, oh, yeah. So do I. I hope she can, because it's, you know, it's it's hard when things are in court and stuff like this. It takes a long time for it to go through the court system between appeals and this and that. Lawyers, doing
Mhm.
what lawyers do to slow things down and stop it up. And then, of course, with victims like this, who, especially a young girl like that going through all this, she's not going to have any kind of college education. Therefore, she's not going to have any kind of financial support or money to pay for these cases. And I don't know about her parents, how they are well off or not. And
Probably
so,
not.
and lawyers aren't cheap at all. And,
Mm-mm.
the Watchtower,
They're not doing it for free.
but the Watchtower gets their lawyers for free. And so they'll just continue to push on while we got to pay for lawyers. So,
Mhm. They get their members to donate enough money so they can pay lawyers, settle out a suit,
oh yeah,
everything.
my my wife made a good point. She
Yeah.
said a lot of times lawyers like this will take the case and just take a portion of the settlement as well.
Yeah, they will,
So
and
yeah,
I'm hoping that a lot of these lawyers, since they know what's going on with the Jehovah's Witnesses, they will do that. But even still, you have to find the lawyer who's willing to do that for you, and
she just
hopefully they're
said
good.
if they know they can get money, they'll take a case.
Well, I think that it's probably a guarantee with the
Yeah,
with the Jehovah's Witness organization and what's happening with them. They're probably guaranteed to make some money. So they're probably like, sure, yeah, we got you. We help you out.
exactly. All right. So I also got another article that I found on the old interwebs yesterday. Let's see here. So this is one of the projects that the witnesses have going in Rockland, and they were
Yeah.
they and I've told you on this channel before. I'm not going to just try to say all the bad stuff. This actually isn't a bad story. This is actually good, and I'll be objective and say good stuff too. Sorry if you don't like it. I'm sorry.
How dare you?
How dare I say the good stuff? So the witnesses won a $1 million environmental award. And this is from some of their buildings that they're building in Rockland County, New York. And
Okay.
the reason why they won this award is because their carbon footprint is low, and they're setting uh, an example on how to do their buildings. So
Oh,
I'll
give
just
me a
I'll just
break.
list off some of the stuff here that it says that they did to win this award. It says that the complex will feature mass timber structural systems, reducing embodied carbon, green roofs, and an energy recovering system on the building's drain system. Heating and cooling will be centralized from a closed loop geothermal system comprised of 280 wells at 800-foot depth, which is the largest to date in New York State. Aggressive heat recovery strategies and use of on-site renewables will be managed by a behind-the-meter microgrid control through high-efficiency system. There will be 40 vehicle charging stations and an interior bike storage for 545 bikes. Now, let me be the devil's advocate here on
Hmm.
this as well. That shit ain't cheap.
Right. Like, dude, we are talking about big bucks.
That shit is not cheap. You want to talk about some money? They are putting some money into those buildings. But Jehovah will take care of your carbon footprint in the new world. Yeah, that's right, Jonathan. They will. He will.
You
And
get
that
a
and that's
lessened carbon footprint, and you get a lessened carbon footprint.
but see, that's just the funny thing though. It's such a good point though, because you know, they're always taught that the end of the world is coming. So why worry about this system of things and how we destroy the world or in any way we can? And now they're doing this. So I mean, really, although I'm not I applaud them for doing those things to lessen the carbon footprint because I don't believe in their fairy tale future. It's still hypocritical to their own teachings and beliefs and what they ultimately are indoctrinating people into.
Right. Exactly. That the world is coming to an end, and as far as I'm concerned, the fact that they're worried about carbon emissions and their footprint and whatnot makes me feel like, are you sure the world's coming to an end? Or is it
My
coming to an end because of people like you who are destroying the planet, building all these churches that we don't fucking need?
the voice inside my head behind me just said it's all about the resale value.
Well, that's what I'm wondering too, is are they just hoping to be able to sell this in the next 5 years? Get
Yeah,
in there, use it a little bit, make it look like it was lived in, and then offload it.
yeah. I mean, it's the same with their kingdom halls. You know how they design them to be the next, drive-through restaurant or whatever.
Yep.
So they can
CVS.
sell them easily.
Yep. Your newest Walgreens right next door.
Yep.
The Jehovah's Witness mall. The
Of course,
Jehovah's Witness
I
shopping mall.
I do get a kick though, and this actually happened to one of the kingdom halls we went to in Florida. It was sold to another church, and I forget what the church was. It was the Bayonet Point Hall, but it was another church that Kingdom Hall was sold to, and I remember, you know, that's the Kingdom Hall I met my wife in. Okay,
Oh,
that's
really?
that's the Kingdom
Aw.
Hall my dad gave a talk in, and somebody died on him. So I've got memories at that
Whoopsie.
hall, and it was
Oh,
sold to another
shit.
church.
Your dad's killing people giving talks? Well, damn.
I know, right? Why do you think I don't have him on my channel too much?
He's putting them in the deep sleep. Like, you're not waking up until the new system sleep.
Well,
No, but you know what? Jonathan
sidetrack
makes a
though.
good point.
Go ahead.
He makes a very good point. I wonder if there's some kind of, like, maybe their angle is that
Oh
they're
yeah.
getting some kind of subsidy, something from the government, just like a homeowner would. If we put in panels or whatever, your state might give you some kind of kickback for doing
Oh,
that.
I'm sure they absolutely are, because there's a
How do
lot of
we find that
subsidies right now for
out?
that. Oh,
Yeah.
there's websites you can find that out, and I'm sure they have it in with the local politicians and you know political organizations to find out about these subsidies. They got people that got people.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. The ones who were in critical condition are recovering, thankfully. And the girl who won her settlement after having to listen to her abuse on tape for hours. Yeah, I'm hoping that she feels better receiving a little bit of justice. Not as much as I would like to see, but it's something. It's a win, and a win is a win. We'll take it.
Yep. And I like being a winner.
It's in your blood.
It's more in my name than my blood.
True.
But what was it?
Oh, I wonder.
Probably.
I mean, you
You
can
can donate
donate
coconuts.
anything. What is the whole coconut thing? I think I've missed
Well,
the plot.
there was a talk. One of the governing body helpers or something was giving a
Uh-huh.
talk about how in a poorer country that if they didn't have money, they could donate coconuts.
Is that really what was said? Because I
Yeah, it was
saw.
something along those lines. I mean, it's
I
not word
forget
for
who it
word.
was. It was probably Wally and maybe XJW Panda. I don't know. I just remember seeing their thumbnail.
Yeah, I just saw a little
Because
clip of
sometimes
it
I
on
don't have time
Twitter.
to watch like everybody's video. I've been trying to watch everybody's videos and get caught up, but I was like,
Right.
what the hell is this coconut thing? Why are they talking about? Lord Jesus,
I'd
no
like to
wonder.
walk up. I'd like to walk into a Kingdom Hall with two of them and here, check out D's nuts.
ABC, D's nuts.
Dang right.
Oh man. Okay. Well, at least now I know that when it comes to the governing body, they are not too proud to beg. They will take whatever they can get if it can get them
Yes.
somewhere else quicker. My goodness.
They are.
You know, the fact, you know what? Oh. So here's something just quickly. I watched a Mormon podcast one time, and this young lady was talking about how, because they go out on their missionary work too, just like the JWs do. I think they're a little bit more disgusting than we are with it, but still, it's, missionary work is absolutely abhorrent, disgusting. So this girl goes on to tell everybody how they were trained to make people feel guilty if they could not donate to the work that the missionaries were there to accomplish. So people who said they didn't have enough money to eat, they would guilt them into giving money or food or whatever it is they could get from them. And obviously this girl had learned her lesson. She realized what a huge mistake all of that was, yada, yada. But I was just floored at the idea of people going to other countries, other continents where there might be, money insecurity, food, housing insecurity, and you're forcing them to support your missionary work.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't the point of the missionary work is you're supporting your own work? No, now you're going to make poor people. I was just floored. I thought it was disgusting. And it's really the same thing the Jehovah's Witnesses do. They just might not be as disgusting with it, but it's all the same thing. Land grab.
Yep. But anyways, that is all we have for you this week. So thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of Apostate Weekly. Please be sure to like and subscribe and share if you can. And as always, apostate your way.
Listen to Baby Blessed. Love you.
Bye.
Thanks for joining.